Hey guys, welcome to the Light Stand. We are Art and Natalie. And guess what? Natalie's here.
Oh, well.
I know y'all missed her voice a little bit.
Yes, my soothing voice is what I've heard. So we've had a few listeners that have actually told me that they like listening to my voice because it's very soothing. So I will do my best to talk more, guys, so that I can put you guys to sleep. I'm just kidding.
That's what she said.
kidding.
Well, I'm not gonna say her name, but she was like,
Oh.
I love your soothing voice because it puts me right to sleep. It's like it kind of defeats the purpose of a podcast. But hey, whatever. If that's the way we're helping people by
Right.
making them sleep better,
Hey,
more power to them.
awesome.
All right. So we are going to do a question and answer session. We reached out to several of you guys for some questions that you would like answered on the pod, and we received some really good ones
Yeah.
and some really funny ones, dude. One really made me crack up.
Yeah.
But I'll let you go first.
Yeah, guys. So this is just going to be a Q&A between Art and I, and we're going to make it as funny as possible and answer your guys' questions as best as we can from our experience. So I hope you guys enjoy this podcast, this episode. And yeah, I mean, we will be more consistent. So we appreciate you all listeners. So thank you guys for sticking around. We love you all.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And here's a cool part is that the questions that we have for each other, or the questions that Nat got and the questions that I got, we on purpose didn't share them with each other.
right,
We don't know what we're gonna ask,
right.
so that adds a little spice. Go for it, babe.
Mystery. So one of the questions, this was a listener submitted question. And it's funny, okay? So I just want to break the ice. Did Fast and the Furious influence your Cavalier?
Wow. Yes. Duh. I think that movie influenced every person from 8 years old, every boy for sure, from 8 years old to. If you love cars, I can't even put an age because there's older guys that love cars.
Right.
But yes, let me just answer the question. Yes, it did.
Okay. So what did you do to your Cavalier? So people don't know, like, what did you?
It was my first car ever. I wanted a car. I asked my mom at 16, no, I think 15 turning 16, are you going to buy me a car when I turn 16? Because at that time it was legal. You could have a driver's license at 16. I think it's changed now in Texas. But she said, no, I'm not going to buy you one. If you want a car, you got to work for one. And I said, say less. So my 16-year-old self went out and got 2 jobs in high school. So to save up enough for a car. And I remember I was watching TV with my mom, and there was a commercial that was like 0 down, $99 a month or something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a dealership that doesn't even exist anymore. It's on the corner. It was on the corner of
Lee Trevino.
Lee Trevino and I-10. Forgot what it was called too. But we went and we saw a Cavalier. At the time, my best friend drove a Cavalier and it was fixed up. It had a ground kit. It had the rims, the sound system. It was decked out. So I knew the potential Cavaliers had. So I saw that one. It was a 99 gold Cavi with like 40 something thousand miles. And I remember it was my mom helped me with the $500 down payment, and the payment was $193 a month. Man,
Nowadays,
I miss
car payments are what, 500 plus a month?
plus. Yeah, I've heard Dave Ramsey 1,000.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, so after buying the car, saving up, I put a Bomix ground kit I forgot the type of rims or what they were called, but it had a like a mirror face, and then the lips were gunmetal. They actually looked pretty cool. It was a 5-spoke rim. Dropped it with coilovers. It had two 12-inch subwoofer sound system, and it had a marble paint job. Marble was it was a crazy look. It was it was definitely unique. I won multiple car shows with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a marble floor. If you think of a marble floor, it has like that, like the designs, like the rock, like waves or what. How do you, it's hard to, well,
I mean, nowadays I think a lot of people that own homes like getting that marble look countertops. That's
marble.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can make them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the paint job of your car was similar to that
like
look.
That. It was like first it was like a caquita green. Like gold. It was supposed to be gold. It looked gold in the sample.
What's caquita green for our English speakers?
It looked like a rolling piece of poop, bro. It was
caquita. Caquita, guys, is also known as poop.
Poop.
What did you say?
Poop. Poopy.
Poopy?
Well,
I've never heard him say poopy. Poopy.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I was so disappointed when I picked up my car. The guy calls me, he's like, it's ready. And I was ecstatic because I lasted, I don't know, a month and a half without the car. I go pick it up, and as I'm pulling up, and we're pulling up, I was like, no way, that's it. Because the sample, it looked gold, like a bright gold,
kind of like a flake, gold flake,
like a dark gold flake.
Mm-hmm.
I pick it up. This thing is like a dark green,
like a forest green, maybe
foresty green. And yeah, in the sun you could see the gold. Mm-hmm. But if the sun is going down or it's at night, it looked like a piece of poop, man. Literally, a rolling piece of poop, big old piece of poop with windows and a sound system. So not luckily, but man, that car had so much bad karma. I got hit, and it was always a rear end. Always. I probably went through like 5 different back bumpers, truly. Mm. One of the times that it got hit, we were able to get it repainted, but it was a different marble. So this was like a blue silver, like a bluish silver mix. Mm-hmm. And that one looked cool.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that was it. That was pretty much it. The engine, I couldn't really do a lot to it just because it was automatic. It wasn't, Cavaliers are not fast. Mm-hmm. So I just put an intake on it. I put an exhaust on it just to kind of give it some sound. And that was it. Some projector, Alteza headlight, tail lights. And yeah, started a car club called Exodus. I think we were only like 5 members total for a long time. Shout out to Nate and Eric and Omar and what was that guy's name? I forgot. It was like 2 more guys. And then after that, nothing happened with that. I was invited into Axis. Axis was one of the top 2 car clubs in El Paso. So that felt a lot cooler because I was like, dang, I'm part of like the top 2. Mm. It was Axis and Alchemy.
Nice.
Anyway.
So that was your Fast and the Furious inspired Cavalier.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right. Are you ready? Do you want me to start with like the funny one this one was crazy.
Okay.
Or do you want me to start with something?
The icebreaker.
The icebreaker. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite book and why?
What is my favorite book and why? Well, there's many books. I think one that has been currently helping me, that I can say is helped me a lot and I know would help a lot of people by me reading it is The Battle of the Mind. It's more of a devotional book, but that one is by Joyce Meyer. I think that book has helped me like put into perspective, like anyone that's going through like mental health problems, not problems, but mental health issues. That would be a good book to read because it gives you devotionals. So, and it explains like how the enemy uses your thoughts to attack you, like lies. So currently I would say that would be the book that is one of my favorite reads. Favorite book. Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. And then another one that was related to Fast and the Furious. Were you bald because of Vin Diesel?
No. I was bald because truly at the time I didn't know what haircut like would fit me. No, you know what? In middle school, that's what happened. In middle school, I think it was the 98 World Cup with that a bunch of soccer players had bald hair, heads.
Mm-hmm.
Ronaldo, like a bunch of Brazil was my favorite team. And yeah, like they were all bald, dude. Roberto Carlos.
So is that what inspired you to be bald?
Yeah, because I played soccer, and I was like, oh, dude, like that's so cool. Like, you know, if I'm hot, I can just pour water on my head, and I don't have to worry about my hair messing up. It was like a weird thought process. Okay. But I remember watching a game, and like at halftime, I got clippers. I went to the backyard and I shaved my head, and I walked in, and my mom was like, "What the heck?"
How old were you?
I was probably like 13.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
And you were bald from 13 to what age would you say?
Well, it was like a number 2 guard. So it wasn't crazy
like
bald.
Skin bald, right?
Yeah, it wasn't skin bald. Yeah. I started going super short in high school. Like in sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, that lasted for years. Till, man, I don't know, just recently. I don't remember how long ago I started growing out my hair, but I think it started maybe like in my 30s for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well.
So.
Now I can't imagine you
bald again?
Yeah.
Well, that's what you fell in love with, baby girl.
I did.
I don't know why. But no, not Vin Diesel.
Cool.
Okay. This one, kudos to, talk about a icebreaker, and this person is very brave for asking this. I think we'll both.
I'm a little worried.
I think we're both going to answer this one. Okay. What's your favorite sex position?
Órale. Oh my gosh.
Hey, we opened the can of worms, dude. So happy marriages have sex. I'll go first because Natalie is super red. I like when you're on top, to be honest. It's my favorite. I mean, all of them. As long as it happens, I'm happy. But she's blinking a lot.
No, I'm thinking like This might sound bad, but I'm gonna say it. So when I'm tired, I like being at bottom because you do the most of the work. And I don't know what that position's called.
Missionary. The normal one.
On the bottom?
When you're on bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah, missionary, I think.
I don't know.
You're on bottom, I'm on top.
And then I guess one of my favorites you can say would be when you carry me.
All right. We went there. Y'all, let me tell you. We have a happy marriage in this household. And there's no shame.
Oh, gosh.
Happy marriages have sex.
Yes.
And if you're listening to this and you're not having enough sex, please go have some healthy, married, husband and wife sex.
Yes.
All right. Next question.
Okay, so this is more of a serious question. What's a deal breaker for you in a relationship?
Ooh.
So, like in our example, a married relationship, like a deal breaker that would break.
Like for you and me, or in retrospect, if I were to be single again, like it's.
No, I mean, in our current situation, we're married, so I mean.
But we're married though.
Right, but what would be a deal breaker? Like, what would be like something that you're like, that's it. You're like that breaks our marriage. Does that make sense?
A deal breaker in our marriage, specifically.
Yes.
It would be when you know that you have a personal issue that requires work on your part to change. Whatever, fill in the blank with the work part. Whatever that requires, whether it's therapy, whether it's personal development, whether it's discipleship, whatever. If the only solution to that issue requires you to change the person that you are, you know that you have to change, but you refuse to. Or not that you refuse to, but you choose not to. Because that would make me feel like you're taking me for granted. So, for example, let's say that you were an alcoholic and you knew that your alcoholism affected our marriage, clearly, affected our kids, affected our relationship, affected our finances, obviously, affected your work, etc. And I told you, you need to change. You can't be doing this. You can't be acting like this. You can't, that's a very bad thing, quality that you have, or habit that you chose to take up, or whatever, right? And you know it. Yeah. And I'm like, babe, you need to change. I love you, and you need to change. It's really causing hurt for us and in me. And you never do. Yeah, I know. I'll get help. One day I'll get help. Yeah, maybe one day. And you just ignore it. And it's because you're indirectly telling me, I expect you to put up with me and with this bad behavior because you can't do anything about it. You're married. You're stuck. So, ni modo.
Okay.
That would be a deal breaker.
Would you say that maybe the other person doesn't know
to
get help? In
this example, you know.
That I need help.
Yes. Gotcha. You asked me what the deal breaker was. Yeah. The deal breaker is you know that it's an issue.
Gotcha.
And if you don't know, I'm going to tell you that it's an issue because our marriage has crystal clear communication. And I'm communicating to you, when you do X, Y, and Z, it's making me feel X, Y, and Z, and it's causing an issue because X, Y, and Z.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, cool. So back at you. What would be a deal breaker for you?
I mean, I know this is not in our situation, but for example, just for the question, someone that would be like a flirt, like no respect whatsoever of you going behind my back, for example, on social media, looking at other profiles, liking girls' pictures, or if we're at the store and you're looking at other girls, you know what I mean? I think that would be, if that's something that you've struggled with and you keep doing it, I think that kind of, if there's no respect in the relationship, I think that would be a deal breaker for me. Yeah.
Okay. Is it my turn? Yeah, it is my turn. Well, this is a good one. What's it like being married to Art?
There's a lot. I mean, he's helped me grow. He's helped me, you can say, become a better person. He's a very patient person. He has a little bit of OCD, which is cool because, I think I have some OCD, or some of his OCD has rubbed off on me, but not in all areas of my life. I think he has OCD, but not like in all areas of his life either. So I think we kind of complement each other in that sense. He's always been a go-getter. Like, he's always been someone that finds no excuses. Like, there's always a way to do something. That's always been him. And yeah, I mean, he's very loving, very patient. So yeah, that would be my answer to that question.
Nice. Thanks, babe. Your turn.
My turn. Okay, what do you think is a key to a successful marriage?
A key or the key?
What do you think is key, to a successful marriage?
There are multiple. It's really tough to answer one. I'm trying to think of a way to merge all of the keys into one. Okay. The number one thing would be when both the husband and the wife are willing to do absolutely whatever it takes to make it work, then you'll have a successful marriage. When both the husband and wife are all in 100%. And this includes not just the easy stuff, but the ugly.
Right.
Talking about learning from your past traumas. And the reason that I bring that up right away is because of the book that I'm reading. It, like, just your past life, your life pre-marriage, especially your life as a child, shapes so much of who you are and how you think.
Yep.
And a lot of us bring that baggage unknowingly into a marriage. And now you're living with a person that you've never lived before, and you start finding out things about each other, quirks, etc. And when it gets ugly, you have to really dig deep, because it's the coward's way out is to say, I'm not going to put up with you and I'm out.
Yeah.
Without giving it a shot, right? So when you have a husband that can take ownership of his anger and say, you know what? The fact that I blow up all the time is not healthy and not good. I'm going to go to therapy and find out why I'm like this.
Yeah.
If I'm an alcoholic, if I am a horrible father, if I am on drugs, if I have a gambling issue, if I am a workaholic to the point where I prefer spending more time at work than with my family. If I'm a flirt, like you said, if I am a womanizer, even because I see, it's unfortunate, dude, but I do see it a lot at work. Married dudes flirting with other girls, and it's not right. It's despicable.
Yeah.
It's like, man. There's a lot. And then on the girl's part, same, right? It's really digging deep and taking 100% ownership of your spouse's feedback and feelings of, hey man, this is not okay. You're doing this, you're acting this way, you rage, you have a drinking problem, you have a smoking problem, you're not being a good parent. You know, you always want to beat your kid, like you're always slapping them around, or you're calling them dumb things, you know, como eres menso, como eres gordo, como eres tonto, you know.
Yeah.
You're an idiot, you know, you're such a dummy, or why can't you do things right? Like, I don't know, there's a million examples that I can give you. That's why condensing it into one thing, that's when you'll have a successful marriage. When you have both parties willing to look at the ugliest corners, the deepest, smelliest, creepiest corners of their soul, you know, and clean out the closet and take action in their no, I don't want to say in their imperfections, because we're never going to be perfect, but you know, when you just when both of them, when both a husband and a wife are just willing to be ripped open, 100% vulnerable, and all the things that they need to work on, that they do work on them, regardless of what that entails, in order to have a successful marriage.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. I was going to, and disclosure, I was going to say God, but God is not going to force you to go to therapy. He's not going to force you to go to Alcoholics Anonymous. He's not going to like, you have to be, the person has to want to change.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was actually a verse in the Bible that yesterday, oh man, I don't have it with me. It's in the car, but it's where Jesus said, I think it's in Matthew, at the end of Matthew, Jesus says that you can't be it's hard to be a prophet in your own town, because people are like familiar with you. They're like, so he went to his own town. Familiarity.
Yes.
He goes to his own town, and it says very few people. Very few people got healed. Very few, because they were familiar with Jesus. They're like, aren't you the carpenter's son? And like they didn't treat him like the son of God. They were like, you're just, it's just Jesus, man. He's grown up here. It's that guy that he grew up down the street. And because of their unbelief, only very few people got healed. And then as you look at the people that he did heal, he says, your faith healed you. Like, yeah, like I'm the son of God and I'll heal you, right? But he says, because you believed, because you took that leap of faith, right? So it takes your part. God isn't going to force you to be an amazing husband or amazing wife. You have to want it. Yeah. All right. Thank you. We're not saying names. Thank you for submitting this question. What's your favorite meal?
Well, I had asked you, what do you think is a key to a successful marriage?
Yes.
Oh, no, you're asking me. Question one more time.
What's your favorite meal?
What's my favorite meal? Not food, like meal?
MEAL. What's your favorite meal?
Well, I like everything. Meal?
Chico's Tacos.
Yeah, I like Chico's Tacos. I like Chico's Tacos with their green chili sauce. So it has to be the doubles. And then their fries with a lot of ketchup. And then a little bit of that green chili sauce, salsa. And then a Coke. Like, that's bomb.
Nice.
Or if I go to Juarez, I like their menudo. I don't know the name of the restaurant, if you can help me with that.
The one that I'm thinking about?
Yes.
Horizonte. El Horizonte.
Yes. in Juarez. Their menudo is bomb, or their pozole with a Mexican Coke. OMG.
Yep.
It hits different.
Yep.
Or I love barbecue. So like pulled pork, like brisket, anything that's sweet. I like my meat sweet. So I'm not a big steak person, but pulled pork, chicken, I like. That has barbecue with a cornbread from Famous Dave's. Oh, that's bomb.
Mm-hmm.
So I have several, guys. So I can't pick one.
The answer, what's your favorite meal? Yes. They're all.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, next question for you. What are the 3 books you'd recommend for personal growth and why?
Ooh. 3 books for personal growth. Okay. Well, you're not, the question doesn't specify a specific area in growth. So I'm just going to answer the first stuff that comes to my mind. The first one would be,
I guess personal, like personal growth.
Híjole, it's because there's so many.
What would you say your top 3 would be?
The number one is truly a tie. It's hard because they're so good in their own respect, but they're very much the same. It's a tie between 4 Pillars of a Man's Heart and Wild at Heart. I think the author for Wild at Heart is John Eldridge, and I don't remember the name of the author for the other one. But I think it's Stu Weber. I could be wrong. But they're both so good. They're both pastors. 4 Pillars of a Man's Heart basically shows you that how to be a man that most closely resembles Jesus. The 4 pillars are warrior, mentor, friend, and king. And the book shows, I really love a drawing that the book shows. If you're listening, if you're definitely Google this, 4 Pillars of a Man's Heart. It's a diagram, and it shows the those 4 pillars that I mentioned. But it shows what happens when they're straight and perfectly balanced. How they can sustain the roof, which is your family, your marriage, your community, your church. And how a 4-pillared man that's in balance is like strong, dude. Like you're going to have a super great chance at life, at success, at marriage, at being a father, everything. When they're not in balance, like if the king pillar tilts too much to the left or to the right, you could be overbearing or you can be very passive. If a mentor, like if you have to be a perfectly balanced mentor, if you too much to the right, you'll be like a know-it-all, and if you're too much to the left, then you're a burro, a dunce. It calls it DUNCE. You don't know anything, so, and you can't mentor someone if you don't have knowledge, right? So stuff like that. It really spoke to me. It really just hits home big time. It left a tremendous impact in my heart and in my life. So that's why I love the book so much. Wild at Heart is fathering boys, specifically boys, and we have 2 boys. So I think that's why that book hits home so hard, and it's because I think it's mostly because it's so much stuff that my dad never taught. So for me, it was like learning something brand spanking new. It was literally like discovering water in the desert. It was like I'm digging a little trench by a river, and all of a sudden I struck gold. And then I just land this humongous chunk of gold type of thing. And I'm like, wow, because it's so good. And it teaches you how to father boys, what drives boys. How did God program boys? How to teach them to be responsible men.
Yeah.
What makes them tick, how to love them, how to, communicate with them and tell them that you're proud of them, tell them that, you love them, tell them that you're interested in them and in their life. how to instill in them, how, like, it's just so much. It's like a how-to kind of book, but
Yeah.
he's also telling a ton of stories, so it's very engaging.
I just to add a little bit on that that book, Wild at Heart. I read it too, and man, like you would think it's just a book for a guy to read, but no, I mean women can read it too, especially if you're going to be a mom of a boy, or you currently have boys, or that you counsel boys or whatever. But I mean, when we were new parents and the boys started getting at the taller age and you would rough play with them, that would like get me all nervous because I'm like, you're going to hurt them. Like, don't do that to them. But after reading that book, I was like, wait, those are boys. Like, it's okay for them to rough play. So it's an awesome read. So I would recommend it to ladies out there as well.
Dude, that triggered a thought of a little story where he's talking that he's wrestling with his son.
Yeah.
And that his son, he pinned down his son, and he's like, you see, like, because he talks about boys love to test their own strength against their father.
Yeah.
And it's so true. If you have boys, especially like young toddlers, you know exactly what that means. So this kid, he pins him down. He's like, oh, you're not strong enough. Haha, whatever. Like, you know, come at me. Is that all you got? Type of thing. And the kid gets up and punches his dad in the nose. Like straight up clocks him, dude. You're talking like a 4-year-old. And the way he writes the book, he's writing this piece. As soon as he clocked him, because his dad started bleeding out of the nose, hit the face of the kid, of his son, turned to fear. And all of a sudden he was like, oh, I'm assuming what the kid was thinking was, oh my gosh, what did I just do to my dad? I'm in deep trouble because I made him bleed. And that the dad just kind of wipes his nose, sees the blood on his hand, and then looks at his son, and he's like, dude, you got quite the wallop. This is a white guy, obviously, writing it. But he's like, man, like, what a great punch, son, type of thing.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, come on, give me a high five. That was amazing. Yeah. And that the son was like, oh, snap, yeah. You know, like, I'm strong. Right. And that after that little experience, that the son was literally walking. It was like he was 6 inches taller that entire day. Mm-hmm. He just felt so strong. He built him up.
Yeah.
But it makes you think as a father, as you're reading, how many dads would be stupid enough to turn that experience into a negative experience for their own son.
It's like a reaction.
Yeah, exactly. Literally scarring them for life. Yeah. And being like, what the heck did you just do? What's your problem? Like, why'd you punch me? Don't you ever hit me again? Escuincle. Like, you, especially in the Mexican culture, you could just imagine, right? But he took this so all this stuff I'm learning, right? Mm-hmm. As I'm reading it, and I'm like, bro, this is amazing. Yeah. Anyway, so those are the first two. Sorry.
Just to add, if someone wants to know, so 4 Pillars of a Man's Heart, it's from Stuart Weber. And then Wild at Heart is from John Eldredge.
Sweet.
Yeah. And then your third one, what would you say?
Well, that's a tie for number 1.
Oh, okay.
And that, because that speaks too much to develop you as a man, period, and then as a father. Mm-hmm. And the second one, which helped develop my thinking, is also a tie because they both hit so good. The first one is See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. Mm-hmm. And it's tied with The Magic of Thinking Big. David Schwartz, I think, is the author. He's a psychologist. Those are amazing reads. And then a third one. So the first 2 are for developing the man and the father in me. The second 2 were like for developing my mindset. And then the third one for like spiritual growth. Mm-hmm. I would say... man, that's tough. I would say it's also a tie between one that's called Fathered by God. Mm-hmm. And it says, like what your dad could never teach you is a subtitle, I think. And then that's a tie with Outwitting the Devil. That one is by Napoleon Hill. That one blows your mind. That one, I think not everybody could read that book, bro. That one, you really need to like prep. That one will rub you definitely the wrong way if you're not ready.
Yeah.
Outwitting the Devil. Because the way it's written, it's an interview with Satan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well.
And at the beginning of the interview, the author says, by the power of Jesus Christ, I demand that you have to tell me the truth. You can't lie to me.
Oh.
You know, you're the father of lies, but for the sake of this interview, in the name of Jesus, you can't. You are prohibited from lying to me. There's power in the name of Jesus. Jesus has power over Satan, obviously. So that's how the book starts. And the devil's like, dang, since you put that, you know, boundary type of thing, he's like, okay, I'm going to answer you with the truth.
Yeah.
And he asks him everything. Like, what's your number one weapon against humanity? Who's your number one target? Why do you go after the people you go after? How do you go after them? You know, what do you do? Like, and the devil's just answering all his questions, and it's insane.
Interesting. Oh, well.
Yep.
That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Next question. This is a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you visit? Oh, where would you never visit, even if you were paid $1 million to go? If someone said, I'll pay you $1 million to go to this place, and you're like, I'm still not going to go.
Oh.
Your in-laws' house.
I'm in.
Just
what?
kidding.
I'm in what?
Your in-laws' house.
My in-laws' house. I love my mother-in-law.
Yeah, no.
Shout out to her.
I love my mother-in-law too.
And her food. I love her food.
Oh yeah, I love her food too. Where would you never visit?
Never visit.
Even if you were paid $1 million.
I mean, the first thing that pops in my head would be maybe like the Amazon forest, where I know that there's going to be insects like snakes crawling around. Like that gives me the heebie-jeebies. Like I can't. Yeah, I wouldn't be able if it was just there, like in the forest, like they dropped me off there. I wouldn't be able to do that. If it was in like on top of the forest, you know, those houses that they put up in like I don't know how you call it, in those
yeah, like stilts.
Yeah, then maybe. But if it was just in the middle of the forest, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that.
No. I think because this question was for the both of us, right? So there's two places. North Korea, for obvious reasons. And there's a place called the Mariana Trench. This is the deepest place in the sea, in the ocean. Oh, wow. The deepest place that exists on Earth is the Mariana Trench. Mm-hmm. It's, I forgot how many miles underwater. I know James Cameron visited it, which inspired several of the creatures for Avatar. Uh-huh. So I can only imagine the cool little critters that are down there. However, after that submarine imploded down there where they try to see the wreck of the Titanic, I'm like, nah, I'm good. Like one little bolt at that depth that is not right, you're toast.
You're done. Yeah.
And yeah, I just maybe 10 years ago I'd be down, but
yeah,
nah, not anymore.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, you go.
My turn.
That list that they sent, they have some really good ones.
Okay. So, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self?
Ooh. Well, this one's personal for me, but I would say you have a Father in heaven who loves you and is proud of you and created you exactly the way you are, and you are more than worthy. You are worthy. You have a Father who is proud of you. He just lives in heaven.
Your Heavenly Father.
Your Heavenly Father. What about you?
Knowing what you know now, what would you tell your younger self? I don't want to cry.
Buy Apple stock.
Oh my gosh.
In the 90s. Or Microsoft.
That what you went through growing up doesn't define you. That you saw things, you were told things that were not your responsibility to carry. That your parents raised you the best that they could. That's all they knew at the moment. And that you are loved and that you are beautiful. And also that you are worthy. So yeah.
Love it. All right. Man, these are so good, guys. Thank you for sending these. It's hard to pick where to what do you man. What is the biggest challenge you've overcome in your mental health? We're going to have to make a part 2, man. These questions are too good.
What is the biggest challenge you've overcome in your mental health? Biggest challenge you've overcome. I'm trying to dissect this question, guys. Just bear with me. I would say it would be listening to the devil, not listening to the devil, like not believing his lies. I think that's something that, if not a lot of people, but myself, if not a lot of people, but, or how can I say it? I think a lot of people struggle with this. Myself personally, it's one of my biggest challenge where I have that little devil on the side of my shoulder telling me the same lies over and over. So I think that's the biggest challenge that I'm still struggling with, you can say, because I still haven't overcome it. I'm working on it. But yeah, I think that's one of the most challenging part of my mental health that I'm overcoming.
Okay. Yeah. Your turn.
Question. Okay. These questions are deep.
Yeah.
And they're
so
awesome.
Good.
They're awesome, yeah. What do you think friendship means? How do you think a healthy friendship should look?
I think friendship is true. A true friend is someone that you develop a relationship with to the point where they are there for you. A healthy friend. So I have to disclose that. Some people think that your drinking buddy and the guy you go to the strip club with is your friend. That is not your friend.
Right.
A friend is the guy that, for me, that if I call at 2, 3 in the morning because I'm about to do something stupid, he can help me. And he's willing to meet me somewhere to talk. A friend is someone that prays for you. A friend is someone who is with you, not just in the highs, but also in the lows. A friend is someone who really cares about you and your family and understands you. Well, not tries to understand you, like to their best of their ability. Someone that you can count on. Like someone that helps you get better. Someone that isn't afraid to be honest with you with love. Someone that can tell you the truth with love. And not tells you what you want to hear, but tells you what you need to hear.
Yeah.
Again, with love. Someone that you love hanging out with, someone that you love spending time with, someone that even if you were not to see each other for months and then you get together again, like, man, it's just like nothing happened.
Right.
You pick up right where you left off. Conversation's awesome. The interest is there. Like,
it's not transactional.
It's not a transactional thing. Yes. Mm-hmm. Healthy friendship, is built on love, like genuine, love for each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You build, and that takes work.
Right.
It takes 2 intentional parties. Because it takes 2 to have a good friendship.
Right.
If it's always one party reaching out to the other party, it starts to drag on you over time. Of like, man, what the heck? Like, I'm always reaching out to you, bro. Like, do you not?
Feels one-sided.
Yeah, it feels one-sided. Like, do you never think about me? So yeah, I think that's a really long answer, but
that's awesome.
Healthy friendship is like that. It has a good communication too. Of, hey, we miss you guys. Let's hang out. Or, hey, let's go on a date together. Hey, let's have a barbecue. And there's genuine, a caring for one another and for the families. I think.
Yeah, that's an awesome answer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 2 more, and then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll do that. We'll definitely do a part 2. Ooh, this one's good. This is exclusively for you, babe. How did God healing you with that miracle affect your life and your outlook on life? It says, how did God healing you affect your life? Your outlook on life. So I guess, yeah, like how did, yeah.
That's an awesome question. Just in case people don't know that are listening, I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer I'm assuming that question is tied to that, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, man, I mean, thankful is, I'm thankful for that miracle in my life. It's just, now when I pray for people at church that are going, or anywhere, anyone that might be, that I've come across that is going through like a health struggle, anything with their health, I have that authority to pray over them and declare that they're healthy, that they're healed, just like how he healed me. I have the authority. God has given me that authority to heal those people too. So that's what I've taken from that. And just, I mean, yeah, I still have my days where I'm like, I've struggled mentally and I'm like, God help me with these thoughts. But he's given me a chance to live. Because I've had other friends where they didn't get that chance. And that puts it into perspective. Like, look, God gave you the second chance. Do something with your life. So I have that outlook like, you know what? God gave me this chance. Do something about it. Be a blessing to others. So all that to answer that question.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Last question.
Last question. Simple. And I think we all know what type you are, but are you an introvert or extrovert?
I'm an extrovert.
Awesome.
The end. Come on, babe. We gotta finish with some spice.
Okay.
Okay, she said, What if it feels hard to be motivated to read the Bible? What do I do? Well, I would tell you it's completely normal. Don't feel bad, Not everybody always all the time wants to read the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's normal. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel bad that, you sometimes feel that way.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, a lot of times actually, those times that I don't feel like it, I'm always glad that I did. Because I read something that it's like, man, God really spoke to me there.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Number one, don't feel bad that you don't feel like reading the Bible, because we're human and we don't always feel like doing anything. I mean, if we're brutally honest, we don't always feel like being like super mom or super dad. Yeah. Sometimes you're tired. Sometimes you're like, man, I just want to go to bed, Sometimes you just want to be like, here, watch cartoons. Here's a bucket of ice cream and cookies and leave me alone. You don't feel like cooking a super mega nutritious meal. And, so if it applies to that, it applies to everything. And if we're being honest, right, you don't always feel like going to work. A lot of us, yeah, think about it, right?
Right.
Yay, I get to wake up and go to work today, said almost no one ever. So with Bible, is it the Word of God? Yes. Is it okay to not always want to read it? Yes. It's perfectly normal. What do you do?
We're human. Yeah.
Read it anyways. And it doesn't have to be all the time. It's, there's days that I don't read the Bible. I don't read the Bible every single day. I wish I could say that I did, but I don't. Mm-hmm. I would be lying to you if I said, every day, 30 minutes, without a shadow of a doubt, I do.
Yeah.
No, sometimes you're tired. Sometimes there's a lot going on. So don't overthink it. God knows your heart. Obviously don't, let a week go by, 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And God knows my heart. I'm not going to read it in a year, but God knows my heart. That's all. That can turn into an excuse. But as long, just read it when, make time to read it.
Yeah.
But if you happen to just miss a couple times, don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anything you want to?
I think to the question of what do I do? Like if I don't feel motivated, maybe having like accountability partner, someone that you trust or knows that reads the Bible. like message them and be like, hey, I'm feeling a little unmotivated to read the Bible. How about we keep each other accountable? Let's either do it in the morning or at night. And like Art said, things happen. It doesn't have to be every single morning, but at least 10, 15 minutes a day. And just read a verse, or both you and that partner agree to what book or chapter you're going to read, and keep each other accountable. What did you learn about that? What did you read, and what did you learn about that chapter that you read? So I think that would be very helpful.
Mm-hmm. Now, quick disclaimer to you super religious people. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that, you're a leader in the church and you don't read your Bible every day. Stop kidding yourself, man. Get off your high horse. You are not perfect. Because that's, and you're probably not married if that's your thinking. Because if you think that once you get married, for example, every single morning you're going to wake up like, good morning, my love. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Here's your coffee. Here's your breakfast. Here's your buttermilk pancakes, just stacked the way you like them with the cherry on top and the whipped cream. And here is your, mega latte caramel frappuccino with 2 espresso shots and at the perfect temperature. And oh, I ironed your clothes, by the way, babe. Every single day, you're just, come on, man. We all go through it. We're human, and it's okay. Randor.
Thank you.
Cool. Guys, we're definitely doing this part 2. So the next pod we'll go through the other questions, because we got some really good ones. Thank you guys that helped us out with the questions. And thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you.